What's going on, everybody? GemMint here with today's new comic book day reviews. The last new comic book day of the month, Wednesday, March 30th. And man, what an amazing week for comic books. There were so many pick of the week contenders. I didn't really know which one to go for. Multiple books could have filled that spot, but I did make a decision. It is Wednesday, so it's What Not Wednesday. I'm going live at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern today for a live 1-hour comic book auction. We actually have a cool 4K follower giveaway we're going to do for this TMNT 109. This is a Comic Tom exclusive by John Boy Myers. It's actually the first TMNT book to have a sideways trade dress. It's the sketch version that's signed by the cover artist John Boy Myers and graded a 9.8 by CGC. Also, our good buddy console fanboy Zohar donated us this Mortal Kombat 0 CBCS 9.8 that I'm going to use as a giveaway just for fun as well on Whatnot. So make sure to come tune in. You got to be following for the giveaways. Plus, I have a lot of great books. Speaking of great books, let's jump into this week's books, and let's start with Marvel. And man, I am so happy I stuck out this Beyond Corporation thing. Amazing Spider-Man 93 was amazing. It was an awesome issue. First of all, I love this cover. I love the interior art, which I don't even see on the cover who did this. It looks like it's Mark Bagley. Amazing lines and pencil work. Love the updated Ben Reilly costume, and oh my god, Ben Reilly. No spoilers here, but this ends this whole arc, and you're going to get Wells and John Romita Jr. on the new Spider-Man arc. But man, so many repercussions for Ben Reilly here. Big changes, big things happening, and I can't believe how much I'm gushing over Amazing Spider-Man. Awesome. Next up, we have the conclusion to Dark Ages. It was just a 6-issue miniseries by Tom Taylor, Iban Coelho, Brian Reber. It ends with a bang. It ends, I would say, strong like how it started. I feel like for a 6-issue series, it had some dull moments. Loved Apocalypse here. He was so powerful. And I like how we kind of touched on how he was controlling Iron Man again. I was wondering why those heroes were on the side of Apocalypse. I forgot that the Purple Man had them under control. I mean, it's kind of funny because we have Purple Man doing, mind control stuff, or at least his kids are in Devil's Reign. Dark Ages was a solid series. I did like it as a whole. Again, maybe issue 4 and 5 weren't as exciting. Then we have Ghost Rider issue 2, Benjamin Percy, along with Smith, Peoples, and Valenza. This almost got pick of the week. I love where this is going. I love how they kind of teased us with Johnny Blaze kind of not remembering he was Ghost Rider, got a lobotomy. That's kind of not really going to be the story. It looks like it's more of a when I go to sleep, Ghost Rider takes over kind of thing, and they're like two entities within one. But man, I love that kind of creepy hotel manager looking in the rooms and the windows through this hallway kind of thing. The horror aspects are there. The supernatural stuff is there. Great series so far on issue 2. Then we have Hulk issue 5 by Donny Cates, Ryan Otley, Cliff Rathburn, Frank Martin. Amazing artwork here. We have this kind of Hulk fighting with the unfriendly neighborhood Spider Hulk. So it's like the real Hulk is really fighting this beast while Banner's trying to control him, losing control. You got the engine room, which is the psyche of the Hulk fighting all these hordes of enemies to keep the rage going, to keep the real Hulk going. I don't love the story. The artwork is great. I think the next issue starts a new arc, so hopefully we go in a completely different direction here, because I'm not really digging this whole spaceship or smash ship Hulk that they got going on. Next up, we have the Immortal X-Men issue number 1. This is by Kieran Gillen, Wernick, and Curel. So there were 2 kind of X-Men number 1s that came out, and I bought this one. I read the other one digitally. Should have done it the other way around. I didn't really like this Immortal X-Men issue. It's got this wraparound cover, and it's very much just council meetings, Magneto wanting to step down, and all this political stuff within Krakoa. I just really wasn't digging it. We'll talk about that other X-Men book in just a moment. But first, we got to talk about Silver Surfer Rebirth issue 3 by the Rons. Ron Lim, Ron Mars, also Don Ho and Israel Silva. This wasn't a pick of the week contender, although I think the first 2 issues did get that. I mean, I'm digging it. I love the artwork. I like the kind of Reality Stone giving us multiversal versions of characters, reliving the original Galactus and Silver Surfer kind of story arc. I love the series still. Just wasn't as strong enough for pick of the week. It was a tough week to get pick of the week. Then we have Hulk Grand Design issue 1 by Jim Rugg. This is the third iteration of Grand Design. We had X-Men by Ed Piscor. There was Fantastic Four. I forget who did it. It's the same thing. It's basically getting all of the Hulk history kind of in these very quick, bite-sized panels, oversized, gritty old artwork. If you enjoyed any of the other Grand Designs, you got to read the one on Hulk. Personally, didn't like it as much as X-Men, but I still thought it was pretty solid. And then that's going to move us on to the last book from Marvel, which is this Unlimited X-Men Latitude, issue 1 by Jonathan Hickman and Declan Shalvey. So Jonathan Hickman doing a Wolverine story. Very cool, large panels, and that's what Hickman likes to do. He likes to breathe with his books, give us these oversized issues that aren't dialogue heavy. It's really more art and panels that you get. But basically Wolverine going up to that sword ship in space to go after AIM, who's recently abducted 3 mutants. So Wolverine has this task at hand. I almost gave a spoiler, but I didn't. So he's got to rescue these mutants. He does rescue some who end up becoming allies, and it feels like a video game. It even feels like side-scrolling SNES X-Men games. I dug this. I should have bought this one and read that Immortal X-Men digitally. All right, guys, before we jump into the indie books, I want to talk about The Passageway. This is a new upcoming series by Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino, and Dave Stewart. It's from the Bone Orchard mythos. So it's kind of like this graphic novel, 90-page book or so. So cool that Andrea Sorrentino actually sent me the PDF to read it early. I totally dug it. It's that same gritty horror suspense thriller that this creative team is known for with Gideon Falls, with the Joker smile stuff. Just anything these guys do, I'm a big fan of. This one's right up there, this hole in the ground, seemingly this bottomless pit. That's what we're seeing on the cover with our main character who sends a drone down there. You get the vibe already. I'm not really sure when this comes out. Make sure to check on it. If it's still under FOC, you could request it from your local comic shop. Thank you, Andrea Sorrentino, for sending this. Super dope, and I love what you guys do, man. So make sure to check that out when it comes out. But as far as the indies for this week, Boom Studios is back with Something is Killing the Children. This is issue 21 by James Tynion IV. Werther Deladra and Miguel Muerto. Love this. New arc, new tragedy, new person who's survived, and I don't want to give it away, but history seems to repeat itself. Who do they look up at and see at the end of this horror? Who rescues them? You know, cool. I like how this kind of can go anywhere. Tynion, smart move with this Something is Killing the Children. And then I read, well, I guess if you want to call it read, Step by Step, issue 2 by Image by Baraga, Lopez, and Spurrier. It's there's no dialogue. It's a silent issue. The little dialogue that there is in a foreign alien language that we don't know what they're saying. But it's very well done, and you can follow the story without words. And it's like this huge robot piloted by this kid who's trying to save this other kid, and just their adventure as they're trying to traverse from one area to the next. Great artwork. It was enjoyable, fast read. I mean, nothing to read, just pages to look at. Then we have Newburn, issue number 5 by Chip Zdarsky and Jacob Phillips. Image Comics, digging this. I didn't know where they were going with this. As you can see from the cover, he looks like an inmate. So he's locked up, but it ends up being not as straightforward as it seems. Well written. Again, it's a serious tone book by Chip Zdarsky. Sometimes he could be a little bit slapsticky, but I think in this book he's told a great kind of mafia, informant drama. It's been awesome. Then we have Righteous Thirst for Vengeance by Rick Remender and Andre Lima Arujo. This one gives us some answers. We're on issue number 6. We finally get some answers. Like, it made it a little bit more clear on who this guy is and how he got involved and what's the actual scenario and why are people hunting him. They're in this kind of safe place now, but it makes sense that he stumbled upon the dark web and this kind of a hitman for hire thing, and he just got all mixed up, wrong place at the wrong time type of thing. And then I read Radiant Black, issue 13 already. Kyle Higgins, Costa, Montvie, and Carey. It's really well written, and I find myself, if I have time, I'll read Radiant Black, and I really enjoyed this one a lot. I thought it was a solid issue. The original character who was Radiant Black has now come back, and our main character has been going through a lot of changes. He's getting sponsorship deals and endorsements, but it's kind of making him a target as well. Big flashy artwork, solid issue. Then we have Spawn issue 328 by Rory McConville and Carlo Barberi. Amazing cover. Love this medieval Spawn cover. Awesome issue. Incredible artwork. You have this crazy, hardcore, deranged angel from heaven that's hunting out Spawn. We seem to have a big death in this issue. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't see that happening because how big this character is, but awesome, bloody, brutal fight scenes. The Redeemer stuff is amazing, and I don't know, just continuing to dig the whole Spawn universe. Before we get into the DC Comics, I mentioned last week that I missed out on this Rogues issue 1. Didn't even realize it was an oversized magazine format from DC Black Label, which I'm into. I loved it, man. This felt like kind of like Superior Foes of Spider-Man, but being that it's DC Black Label, it was darker, grittier. Love the ending here. It's surrounding Captain Cold, and it gives us like this kind of scenario where they overhear this potential score that has to do with Gold and Gorilla Grodd. Flashing to 10 years later, all of these villains are kind of like losers. Some are dead. They're jokes. No one takes them seriously, and we basically snap and reform and go after that 10-year-old score. So I loved Rogues. I'm glad that I went back and picked it up. And that'll bring us to this week's DC books. And we have another oversized one. This is Batman, One Dark Knight, book number 2, written and drawn by Jacques. So they have this supervillain named EMP. They were trying to transfer him from Arkham to Blackgate, which is across Gotham. Of course, he sets off, knocks out all the power in Gotham. So now Batman's got to take him from one place to the next in the middle of every gang wanting to either save their EMP villain gang member or the rival gangs wanting to kill him. Batman's got to get him across safely. And there's some definitely sinister motives behind this whole move in the first place, which we have not found out yet. But great, gritty artwork. It's funny because you're reading this big book like it's a coloring book or something, but it's Batman being Batman and breaking bones and just being rough and gritty. Which brings us to DC vs. Vampires, issue 6 out of 12 by Tiny and Rosenberg and Schmidt. Another one that I really wanted to give it pick of the week, but I didn't here, man. This has been fun. This feels like Injustice. It feels like DC. It's just anybody can die at any time. Anybody can be turned into a vampire. Epic hero on hero type of action, which is not the only book that DC does that in this week. The dialogue was great, and it keeps you guessing on who is the king vampire. Who do they got to kill to make everyone else no longer be under their influence? And it's a nice little twist at the end of this one. And then we got Swamp Thing. It's back, issue number 11. They made it now, or extended it, I should say, to a 16-issue series. It's by Ram V. He's joined by Perkins and Spicer. I loved it, especially after just recently finishing Alan Moore's run. I see the influences there. I love how he's even using characters like Woodrow and Abby Holland, which was Alec Holland, the original Swamp Thing's wife. And I love how they're utilizing her. And this is all about coming back from that big epic finale of the first arc, trying to find Levi, trying to find the new Swamp Thing. His girl is looking for him, trying to get help from Abigail. And pretty cool stuff. I like the art style. It's very much reminiscent for the Alan Moore stuff for me. Then we have the War for Earth 3. This is issue 2 out of 2. This was just a 2-issue limited series that tied into Suicide Squad and Teen Titans by Thompson, Hopeless, McKeown, Olivetti, Vines, and Herms. But I really dug it. Like, I dropped those titles, but I thought this was really fun, man. This was a Civil War type of book, but DC and more on Suicide Squad versus Suicide Squad type of terms. Amanda Waller, man, I don't know. I can't tell if I love her or hate her. I kind of liked her a lot more after this issue. And I love the Crime Syndicate. Anytime you get Ultraman or Superwoman or whatever she calls herself, makes for great dialogue, Homelander vibes. Definitely a fun issue, which I thought I wasn't going to like. I just kind of read it because I picked up issue 1 and I did like it. So, hey, the little miniseries was pretty good. All right, guys, this was tough. I wanted to give this one pick of the week. Batman Beyond the White Knight by Sean Murphy. He's got some help from Dave Stewart, but it's Batman Beyond in the Sean Gordon Murphy Batman universe, which was awesome. They kind of changed the origin. It's not so far in the future where an old Bruce Wayne is mentoring a Terry McGinnis. Bruce Wayne's in jail. Like, what happened in The Curse of the White Knight and in the whole White Knight series still happens here. So they kind of tweaked the Batman Beyond origin here, and the whole premise of this is like, now we got Batman Beyond running around. We've got Dick Grayson as Commissioner Grayson running all these kind of like Batman, almost future state-esque armies throughout a police-run state of Gotham. And then you still have Commissioner Gordon running Gotham Central. So Bruce Wayne is trying to do his time. He's trying to do like Daredevil in Zdarsky's run, and it seems like he's going to have to get called out of prison and handle Gotham. So great stuff, man. You know the art style you're getting from Sean Gordon Murphy. I love tying it in with Batman Beyond, but it's not a Batman Beyond futuristic story. It's more of a White Knight story. And before I get into my true pick of the week, I do want to thank That Spider-Man Booth for sponsoring this video. They have $35 mystery boxes where you're guaranteed 5 comics of retail value. One of their lucky boxes is going to have their GP, their giveaway prize, which is an Invincible #1 Adam Eve Virgin Whatnot variant, which is also signed by Tyler Kirkham. You can save 10% off the box by using code GemMint at checkout. Pick up a box before this round ends on April 6th for a chance to win that book. Also check out their sister site Street Level Hero at slhla.com, who has exclusive variants every Tuesday and Thursday with this beautiful Electra 100 cover, which you could also save 10% on by using code GemMint at checkout. That's good anytime you shop there on any item in the store. All right, guys, and for my pick of the week, I gave it to Shadow War Alpha, issue #1 by Joshua Williamson, Bogdanovic, Enriquez, and Mike Spicer. I love this, man. I love how they kind of plucked this out of this Robin run. Talia al Ghul training with Damian. You have Ra's al Ghul heeding the words of his mother about the cursed Lazarus pits and decides to turn himself in. Everything he's been doing to try to better mankind for 1,000 years has not worked. So he's trying to turn himself in, and I knew exactly what was going to happen on that next page. As soon as that page came, not going to spoil it. Big stuff, explosive, dramatic between Damian Wayne and Batman. They haven't really been with each other since, I don't even know when, since Alfred died. Big stuff going on there. The artwork was amazing. I really liked Robin, and I like this where it's going even more. This kind of event out of this run, man. Tough week to choose a pick of the week, but I think we're going to give it to Shadow War. Let me know which comics you're looking forward to reading, or give me your pick of the week in the comments down below. As always, I appreciate you watching. Stay minty fresh. Peace.